Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. The slides are a bit light. I hope you all can see. I'll just be taking about maybe a good 40 minutes and try to concise it a bit to share with you what is happening in the property market outlook in 2018. I believe that there are a lot of buyers out there in the market. You all are quite lost and confused with the frenzy of land sales over 2017, and of course running into 2018, you realize that the en-bloc sales and everything is still going quite crazy, right? So we will be touching on what to expect in the following months, very short following months. Look at some signs and some trends and some charts to see what actions you should be taking during this period of time. And also to address some of your concerns, because I think most of the buyers, you all have this concern on whether the market can sustain itself in terms of the prices, whether the market can sustain in terms of the supply. And of course, the big question is whether I have enough foreigners coming in to rent my units if I'm buying for investment, right? So I'll be covering on this portion. And then after that, there will be another speaker who will be speaking on Park Botania by itself, touching on the Sengkang area and of course the Northeast region, right? This area has probably one of the largest potential in the coming few years to come, which you have seen over the past few years. We have been seeing the Jurong for past good 8 to 9 years already that the government is growing. This year, actually, you stop hearing any more news about Jurong already, if you realize. At the start of this year, you are starting to see and hear news on areas like your Woodlands, which is the up north. And of course, you are starting to hear things like your digital district in the Punggol area. So these are little signs that is being released by the government to tell you that the next good 8 to 10 years, they will be growing the North and Northeast region, right? So that is something that the next speaker will probably expand a bit more to show you some of the signs in this area. So I'll just start off with our slides over here. Market outlook 2018. We have been seeing a very stagnant market for a good 4 years now. All the buyers have disappeared into the market and they have vanished for 4 years. A good 15 quarters, we did not see activities in the property market. So, of course, then in 2017, we suddenly saw a very bold statement released by Morgan Stanley. Over here, you can see this news that was released by Morgan Stanley, one of the top banks in the world. They made a bold statement when the property market was actually on the decline. But they actually said that by 2030, they expect Singapore's property market to double in price. Okay, this news article, when they first released, a lot of people had a lot of doubts with what they are saying, right? But of course, you know banks, they will do their due diligence, they will check, they will look through all the facts and figures before they dare to release something. So if I break down this doubling in price by 2030, what they are basically saying is that Singapore prices from 2017 onwards expected to increase by about 5 to 6% every annum. Per annum, about 5 to 6%. And that's how you achieve your doubling in price by 2030. So of course, after that, with all the doubts, they released another statement in the middle of 2017. Morgan Stanley released the second statement out. And this time round, they broke it down into smaller years. And they mentioned that our price is expected to increase by about 10% by end of 2018. So during that time, a lot of people didn't believe. But if you are seeing what we are experiencing now, we are probably seeing even bigger increment than 10% before we even reach the end of 2018. And that is a very accurate prediction by the bank itself. So during this period of time when the market was still dipping and still staying stagnant, there were a few things that happened. Before I touch on what was happening with the big boys, let's look at the latest news. Did you all see this latest news that was up in the market just about a month back? This land was one of the record-breaking. Okay, this year we broke a lot of records. Last year we broke a lot of records also. But just last month, we had a government land sales for an EC plot in Sumang, right? Sumang is in your Punggol area, along the Punggol waterway area. So this land was bidded and won by CDL, right? So CDL won this land with a record bid price. And the scary thing is we have been seeing EC prices staying on an average of about launch price an average of about 750 per square foot to about 800 plus, highest about 860 for a good maybe 7 to 10 years already. And all of a sudden with this bid, we saw that all 17 bidders, there were a total of 17 bidders inside here. We saw all 17 bidders, including the last bidder, broke the record of EC land bid. And he didn't get the land. So the top bidder is CDL. The eventual land bid you saw here is that the estimated, see 17 bidders, okay? All the bidders have placed bids that are higher than the record land set in July 2013. That's how strong the entire market is now. Okay, developers, 17 developers have the amount of money to throw in, but they couldn't win, only one, right? And the price we extracted, the EC plot in Sumang is expected to break even at $1,000 per square foot. So a lot of people would think that, hey, how can people achieve this kind of pricing and stuff like that? $1,000 per square foot on break even for EC, meaning to say we expect the launch price for this EC plot to be ranging at about 1,150 to maybe 1,200 on a minimum for profit margin for developer. So that is the trend we are seeing in EC already. This price that we see here in the EC was the price that we have been seeing around all suburb area in Singapore, condo, private residential, for the past 4 years, 5 years. That's how strong the market is now. Of course, a lot of you will be thinking, will it sustain? That one we talk about it later, okay? So this is what is happening in the market. But I want to show you before this craze happened. Okay, before this craze happened, there were already a lot of signs that are coming into the market that we as insiders, we already saw that the market was going to change. What were some of these signs? Let's look at this. Do you all read about this news in 2017? At the start of 2017, before Morgan Stanley released the news, one of the bold moves that was done was by our UOB head, Wee Cho Yao, right? He actually used his property firm Keng Leong to buy off the remaining 45 units in Nassim Residences. During that time, we were seeing an all-time low of your District 9, 10, 11. We were seeing no confidence in the prime market at all, but he went in to purchase, not at a huge discount. He bought units. Let's see how much he bought it. Okay, so you can see Wee Cho Yao, he bought 45 units in Nassim, and the average PSF that he purchased during that time was at 2,003 per square foot. So this, when this first thing was released, a lot of us were actually thinking in our head, we were having our own discussion through the trade people. To us, this is a bigger sign that the market is going to recover. Why? Because this purchaser who has bought the 45 units is not a normal purchaser like you and me. This person is sitting on top of UOB who is being fed with all the analysis, all the reports that are given by top bankers, all researchers. Then that's why he made a move, right? So they already expected market to move. And let's see, after he bought these units, how much is he selling now? 2003 he bought, and these are the latest transaction after he bought. Even though we only sold 3 units after he bought, you can see the immediate transacted price is at 3,004 to 3,006 per square foot. How short a period of time? He bought this in the early Jan of 2017. He sold all this immediately. 20 days later, he sold at 3,006 per square foot. Right? And then, of course, across the months, you see him selling at about 3,004. His appreciation in terms of the price after less than 1 month, he has appreciated about 52% already. And that's how strong they have read this market. So during that time when we saw this trend, we knew that something big was going to happen. And we didn't expect it to come in so fast and furious. So to be honest, ourselves, we are also quite worried. Because when we read this trend last year, we made a decision, my own. I made a decision to sell off my unit also. I want to quickly sell off because of my family planning. I wanted to buy a bigger place. So I eventually managed to sell off, but I'm still searching for my place. And the more I speak to y'all, the more kanchong I become also. Because until now, I haven't found my place. And I know every single day, every single month, when the launches are coming in fast and furious, your prices is just going to creep up. And 10 years in this trade, we have never seen prices hitting up so fast before. And the number of launches that are coming up. So this is something that is a bit breathless for us, a bit breathless. Okay? So let's look at the next thing. Martin Modern. Remember this project in Robertson Quay area? This is another trend that we saw. In Martin Modern, when the developer first launched this project, they were also a bit lack of confidence because why? During that period of time, this was the only 99 years and the surrounding were all freehold, right? And during this part, in the mid of 2017, they released the units at a very reasonable price at that time, right? So they sold off their units at how much? At about 2,000 odd per square foot for 99 years surrounded by freehold, okay? They managed to lock in about 100 over units, and the smart buyers who went in to buy, okay? Let's look at how much appreciation they are seeing now. This was in mid of 2017 in July. In February, look at the transaction now. They have increased the price from 2,001 per square foot all the way to about 2,600 to 2,700 per square foot. And that's how fast the market is reacting, especially in the prime area. We all know, as Singaporeans, when the market fall, the prime area will fall first. When the market increase, it will react first. So you always take cue from the prime area, because when they start moving, the other areas will start moving as well. It's as simple as that, right? So you can see how much is the appreciation here. Buyers who bought a simple 3-bedroom bought it at about 2.2 million during the launch. Today, on paper, they are already selling the same 3-bedroom at about the same level at about 3 million. Paper appreciation is about 300,000 in 8 months. And why am I telling you all these things? I'm telling you is because today we are not telling you about the prediction of what the market is going to react. We are showing you all the facts and figures that the market is already pointing towards this direction, and buyers should start making their decision now. Okay, I'm not here to do sales to push you all to buy. Okay, let's look at a few more facts. Okay, let's see the next one. Let's look at some market trends. Okay, over the past 2014, whatever trend I'm going to show you, you will see a similar pattern of the charts. You will see a similar pattern. These are transaction volume of developer new sales, meaning to say the number of units that are transacted. Red ones are your suburb area, blue ones are your city fringe, and of course the green one is your prime area, right? So you can see in 2014 all the way to 16, we are seeing a low transaction volume across all areas. Starting in 17, you see the volume start to spike up, right? And that's how the market is recovering in the new developer sales. Let's look at resale. We see a similar chart. We see 14 on a low, and once we hit 17, your volume start to increase again, right? Why is this so? Okay, even though we are human, but we still act like animals sometimes. This is what we call the herd instinct. And it's weird. It's not coordinated, but there is always a herd instinct. Today, you all come to show flat, you all come together. If you all choose not to come to show flat, the whole Singapore don't come together. If you all choose to buy, all will start buying together. Herd instinct. This is true. After so many times we are launching, we realize even for show flat opening, between maybe a certain period of time, maybe 12 to 2 o'clock, all don't turn up means all don't come. Then 2 o'clock after that, all will start to stream in together. So these are the trends we are seeing, and let's look a bit more into the scientific part. Even for the prices, these are prices on the market. You can see that from 14 all the way to 16, 17 is always a decline, and finally we see an upward trend hitting into all 3 regions in Singapore. Similar to your transaction volume, similar to what we have seen in the past few charts, and this is the overall property price index. We have seen a 15 quarters of decline, and finally in 17, third quarter, we see a spike up. 15 quarters decline is a very long time. That is almost 4 years of decline, and you have waited, timing the market. How many of you have timed the market? Say that it's going to go down, time. Don't try and time. Can never be accurate one. You need to catch. Once you see a single sign hitting upwards, it's time to enter already. Okay? So let's look at this thing. I like this chart a lot because during the period of time of the 15 quarters, before that, a lot of buyers are saying, in the market, they are saying that there's a property bubble forming up. And a lot of people are saying that Singapore properties market, there's a bubble, it will burst, we stay away first. We don't enter the market yet, right? So I show you this property cycle. The first bubble that we saw when we hit in 1996, there was a very sharp decline down, and this was your Asian financial crisis, right? This was the first crisis we saw in our property cycle, and this one we saw a decline of a good 10 quarters, meaning 2.5 years, we saw property prices hitting rock bottom because of Asian financial crisis, right? And of course, after that, it recovered. After 10 quarters, it recovered, and then we saw another decline down. When we saw a crash down, that was the second crisis we saw. That was your dot-com bubble, which didn't affect us a lot. but it was your SARS that actually hit Singapore very badly, right? And during this period, we saw a long decline of a total of 15 quarters. And a lot of people always tell you in Chinese, they have this saying, 危机, right? 危机, when 有危险才有机会. In translation, when there's danger, there will be opportunities. And this is what we are trying to tell buyers. A lot of people still want to follow and see that it's proven, then move in. Too late, by that time, too late. That means today, if I tell you there's a potential here, Seletar Regional Center is coming up, proven to you by government plan, and you say, no, I want to wait for the thing to come up, you will be paying the appreciation. So you need to act a bit faster than the market. That's how UOB with Chow Yao saw he moved first. He moved first, right? So down here, what we saw was, this period of time, I also had a friend. This friend, during SARS period, went to look at properties when everybody was staying at home. So of course, they put on the face mask and everything, went to seek for property. So this lady of my friend, she's a wedding gown designer. She went out to Siglap area to look for landed property, and she found a semi-D during that time selling at about 1.7 million. And she bought it. And today, her semi-D is worth about $4 to $5 million already. And that's how she went into the market when it was supposed to pick up already. And that's how they go in, okay? So of course, then next we saw an increase in price, and then we saw a decline in the third crisis, which is your Lehman Brothers, US subprime. That one only lasted a short period of time, which lasted for 4 quarters. 1 year, we recovered back, not largely affecting us, okay? And if you realize this trend here, okay, look at this part, this P part, this is the peak. Every peak is higher than the previous peak. You saw that? Every peak is higher than the previous peak. That is how all cities will go. You won't see a peak that will go down lower, because it will mean that if Singaporeans or foreigners could have afforded this price in the past, they will not go lower than that. They will always be pushing higher. That's how the country is moving, right? Okay, so after that, when we reach this stage, this is the period of time where a lot of buyers are saying that the bubble will form, that the crisis will happen. Did the crisis happen? It has happened. It has happened. Let me tell you, today, go back and tell your friends who are waiting for bubble, tell them the bubble has already been burst. Who poked the bubble? Our government poked the bubble themselves. They poked the bubble. You look at this. After we increased for such a long period of time, we saw a decline of 15 quarters again. Caused by what? Since 2013, the decline started, and it is caused by cooling measures. Because our government is strong, very, very strong. To the extent that they know that the prices are running too far up, they created and they adjusted 7 cooling measures to make sure our price adjusts up and down by about 4 to 8%. They don't want our price to run up too high. Okay, and I can tell you in the whole region, any countries that we compare, I will show you a chart later. Singapore is the only country that saw a decline in the past 4 years. Any country, neighbors, all the way to UK, US, you see an upward trend in price. That's why I can tell you our government is so strong that they have self-inflicted the crisis that everybody was waiting for. And a lot of people didn't know. It has happened. Prices declined for 15 quarters. This crisis, I call it the post-cooling measure, self-inflicted by our strong government. And after 15 quarters, you see the prices start to move up already. And you all will ask, why prices start to move up? Why are buyers coming into the market? Why are foreigners coming in even with such high ABSD? I'll show you a few charts later to see, okay? So, again, a lot of buyers are always trying to they are trying to track. They are trying to track the same similar trend. Like all Asians, most of the Asians, we are gamblers. Everything we look at trend. Play baccarat, you also look at trend, right? So you all try and capture trend. The thing about trends and cycles, they are similar, but they are not identical. Meaning to say, you will always see this trend. This trend is something you will see in all business cycle. Not even in property, not just property. All business cycle, you will see this trend. There will always be a up, there will always be a down. Okay, how long, how short, don't go and follow the market talk telling you that, hey, every 10 years there's a bubble burst. That's what, see, a market talk without technology last time can spread around the whole Singapore. Everybody knows and think that every 10 to 12 years, Singapore property prices will drop. Then they always time. So don't time based on time frame, but start looking at charts. Look at what is the news that's surrounding. That's how you time yourself properly. Not very accurately, but at least you are still a few steps ahead of the others. So in this normal business chart, we have been seeing a 15 quarters of decline down here. This is a normal business cycle. And where are we now? This is where we are. Can you see? We are here. Because why? We have seen a 15 quarters of decline, and we are seeing upward trend in terms of transaction volume, in terms of prices. We are seeing upward trend now. And what stage is this? This is the stage that we call your early bull. This is your early bull stage. Meaning to say, once you hit past this stage, it will be your bull run already. Your prices will go up. And this time round, we are not talking about 1 year, 2 years to see the bull run happening. We are talking about 1-2 months, you will see the bull start running already. And as investors, what are your action? As investors, your action is very obvious. It is to buy. It is to buy. So let me share with you why. Of course, you are saying that, Ken, you are an agent, you ask us to buy. Proven, it's proven. I have a lot of charts to show you, okay? So investor action, remember, buy. It's the correct period of time. The longer you wait, okay, then buy when? When to buy, okay? As I tell you, similarly to my own experience, I am really every night researching for my own place now. I am looking to purchase as soon as I can. The longer I wait, the more prices will increase. Okay, so the longer we wait, if this is a timeline, every month when we go, we will see that the prices will just keep hitting up. The more you wait, the more appreciation you lose. If you're buying for homestay, maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't care because you're right over time. But if you can sleep on a gold mine, why don't sleep on a gold mine? Simple as that, right? So you've been waiting for a long time before you purchase. You're safe enough now. Please make your decision fast. Don't wait too long. There are a lot of options. But I can tell you, if you want to find the most affordable one currently, it's still here. Really, go and compare. Go and compare. Okay, it's still here. Really, go and compare. I also have a vested interest in this area. I am also owner of one of the property here because I see very big value here. And it has already appreciated. It will continue to appreciate. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. See, this is the number of land. These are the number of lands that were bidded around Singapore in 2017. Okay? And we cannot plot anymore. Any more land bid in 2018, I got no more space to plot. It's maxed out, full. Okay? So what you see here is the blue lands that we have plotted out are your GLS land, government land sales. Okay, the orange ones that you see are your on-block sales. Can you see how many blues and how many orange? It's probably a good 70-30%. 70% maybe from on-block, 30% from your government land sales, or maybe even more. So this is what we are seeing. Of course, it's a bit too small for you to read, but let me tell you the trend. If you look at where the area we are moving into, the clusters of land, one big cluster is coming up in the central area, right? Because we have been seeing stagnant for central area for the longest time. Okay, a lot of lands are coming up in the central area. A lot of lands are coming out in the western side. Okay, a lot of lands are coming up in the northeast region where Park Botania is. And there are some lands that are coming up in the eastern region. There's one part that's missing, the northern side. Because over the past 4 years, if you realize there are a lot of launches in the northern side. So you can see that side is a bit quiet nowadays. So you can see a few clusters coming up. As long as there's clusters, the next thing we want to be talking about is to study what is the future launch price of these clusters. If their launch price is going to be much higher, you know you are bound to have paper appreciation. Okay? So also one thing I want to share with you is how developers are reacting. We have a good chunk of maybe 50 launches coming up this year. Maybe about 50 launches. Almost 3 months have passed. Today is the last day of the third month. 3 months have passed and there's only one launch so far. Why? All the developers are holding their land to wait and see how the market is reacting. It's simple. Today, if you bidded the land at a price that is lower, are you going to hold it? You're not in a rush to launch it. You will hold it. You will see who go first, what price is accepted by the buyers. I will slowly adjust my price up because I know where my benchmark is. So everybody is waiting. So you saw a recent one launch that went up in the Tampines area, right? That launch went out. You can see subsequent launches coming up already. And I can tell you the more and what is going to be reacting by, what reactions will come from existing launches, developers, they will also adjust up. Simple. If I got a show flat now, I know that site can launch at 1,500, I will slowly increase here to 1,004. So all these are very good signs because when you enter early, as they creep up in price, you have an asset class that appreciates along the way. Simple as that. Okay? So let's look at this one. So I compiled the entire Northeast region land bids for you all to see. Okay, we have a total of 10 lands over here. I don't know whether this is the most updated. I was trying to update it last night, but I think this is the last land won so far. Okay, I just want to show you over here that this EC was supposed, our estimation, to be honest, our estimation was supposed to be at about $850 per square foot on launch price. Because you see the land price? Yeah, so by right it should be about 800 plus, or you can go even lower. But then we expect them to launch at about 950. Why? Simple. If you are a developer, you know Sumang is going to launch at 1,002. Will you push up your pricing? You will. You will. You need to maximize your profit. Will buyers bite? They will. No stock. No stock. There's no easy stock for you to choose, right? Okay, then we see the next one. Shunfu on block by Qingjian, 99 years. Bought the land at 791. Okay? Are they going to launch at this price? Maybe even higher now. Maybe even higher. Right? Okay? This is a landed land. This is a landed one that they will be building clusters. You can see your Rio Casa Serangoon view, 99 years. All these are in the Northeast region in District 19. Can you see the price that's coming up in future? 1,007 plus 1,008. This price over here that we're looking at, we are probably still seeing about 1,002, 1,003, maybe about 1,004. You ask yourself whether you have room to grow. You will have. You will have immediate appreciation in terms of paper. Why? Because a lot of buyers are asking, is this price of 1,003 acceptable in this region now? It is acceptable. You know why? Actually, developers don't so silly go and bid for land. They have done their calculation. High Park Residences, when they were launched, they were selling at about 1,000 per square foot, 1,001. River Trees, River Bank, all around this area, they were all selling at about 1,001, 1,002 plus per square foot. All these are condos that were the last few years of launch. Now they have TOP. This one is going to TOP soon. If you are the owners there, River Trees, River Bank, High Park, are you going to sell at the price you bought? You wouldn't, right? All the owners will mark up and earn their profit from there. They will all start to market their units at how much? About 1,003 plus to have a good profit. So if the resale is going to clock in units like that in terms of pricing, new launch is going to follow suit. This market price in this area has already gone up a different level already. Same thing for the launches that you see in the Yishun area, your Symphony Suites, and all the launches in the north side, they were all sold about 1,000, 1,001 per square foot. Are they going to sell at 1,003, 1,004 when they have a resale units? They will. Look at Kingsford Water Bay. Kingsford Water Bay, when they first started the launch, how much were they marketing? They were selling at about $1,000 per square foot. Today, they are transacting at about 1,004 already. 1,004. Are buyers still buying? Buying. Buying. Because why? The value is here. Can you see just beside it, 1,007, 1,008 is already proven. And you all saw the latest news by Woodleigh Residences. Business Times just released. Woodleigh, you all know this area, right? I will consider it quite close to Northeast region also, right? But under URA classification, they fall under the central area. They released a news to say that they will be launching at $2,000 per square foot. These are the prices that we are looking at. And I don't need Park Botania to match it. I just need us to creep up. That's where the valuation will come in already. Okay? So you can see as I move down further, Sun Rosia, which is at your Bartley area, you can see that the freehold land, they are going to launch at about 2,000 to 2,003 per square foot. The latest one, Haosan Park, even though it's a freehold by Xinghai Yi, we are seeing a range of about 1,009 to 2,000 per square foot. So meaning to say, if you want to find any more land or launches that is selling at about 1,003 plus per square foot, you cannot find in the next few months to come. When the launches start to heat up, everything will adjust accordingly. Okay? So let's look at the summary. Core region in Singapore, we have been seeing a good 2,000, 2,007, 2,000 plus per square foot on a norm for a good 4 years already. In 2018, I can tell you and I assure you, every 9, 10, 11 launch that comes into the market will be launching at 3,000 per square foot and above. They have been waiting for this time for the longest time already. That's why your Martin Modern can hit from your 2001 to 2007, 2008 now, and they stop sales. Stop, eh? Why stop? Slowly increase. Don't need to sell now. You get what I mean? Then you see your Nassim that I show you, transacted at about 3,000 plus. Any launch in your District 910 will hit your 3,000 plus. First to react. First to react. Huh? Okay, in the core region, the central, the rest of the city fringe area, we are seeing prices at about 1,500, 1,700 per square foot. And this time round, you will start seeing your Amber area, your Paya Lebar area, already announced out. They will all be selling at about 1,800 to 2,500 per square foot. All your Amber city fringe, all your Paya Lebar is hitting above 2,000. This is the norm. Okay? Are buyers buying? They are buying. A lot of you will say, so expensive, we don't buy. We wait for market to drop. But I can tell you the 4-point-something million, 5 million plus of you are not united. You say don't buy, the other people will still buy. Even though you're run by herd instinct, but you're not united. Buyers will still buy. As buyers buy, some people who are on the fence will feel kanchong, they also go in and buy. That's how the market is. You cannot control this kind of thing. All right? And of course, the suburb area, which I show you, we are seeing at about 1,000, 1,300 per square foot. Today, we are going to see launches at about 1,400 to 1,700 plus per square foot. Okay, this is the trend we are seeing. The latest launch in Tampines Tapestry, right? We have transacted one bedrooms at about 1,400 plus per square foot. Transacted already, right? So this is the trend you are seeing, and they sold how many units? 300 units, 300 over units on first day. Price acceptable? Accepted. Accepted already, right? So this development is bound to adjust their price and react according to the market. They have not yet they have not yet reacted very largely. Grab this opportunity because there will be a big thing that is coming up in this area, okay? And of course, EC is taking over your city fringe, your suburb area price. We are seeing about 900 to 1,000 per square foot. So please, don't wait too long already. Okay? Okay, this is the article that I show you. I was talking about Woodleigh Residences. Let me extract. Condominiums at Woodleigh Residences likely to price above $2,000 per square foot. Very bold to release out already. So if this part is nearer, slightly nearer to city center, slightly on here, Woodleigh is not very near. Still within your northeast zone, right? And down here is still northeast. This is a residential enclave. If you buy here at about 1.3, down there is going to sell at 2,000. You ask yourself, how are they going to react to this thing? All right? Okay? So, again, you all will say nobody will buy at this price. I agree, maybe nobody will buy at this price. Maybe some people will lock in a few units. Maybe the sales may not be very strong. We really don't know how buyers are going to react. But I'm telling you that today, I'm not saying that it is about $100 per square foot difference or 10-20%. I'm talking about a $700 per square foot difference of the area and here. I don't need people to react to the top tier. I only need people to react to 1,500. Because why? If they launch at 2,000, some other developments come out and launch at 1,500, will it become a steal to the buyers? They will think that it's cheaper. They will lock in at a higher range, and buyers who bought at 1,300 will then see their price start to move up along the way. So this is a trend moving forward, okay? We just move on the next one. Okay, so far you understand how the market is. It is really breathless. Every day there's new news to throw inside here. Okay, so let's talk about the bubble. A lot of buyers are asking, hey, then is there a possibility that the market can sustain this price? Okay, let's see this thing. Is this a bubble? I took out a report from UBS. I borrowed their chart from UBS. Again, banks' charts are the easiest to use because I told you they will do their due diligence, right? So let's look at the bubble. They studied bubble across the entire world. They choose a few countries. Okay, since everybody like to talk about bubble, let's see the size of Singapore's bubble. Okay, this was taken in 2017. Okay, the bigger the bubble, the bigger chance that it will burst. Singapore is still falling at a plus 0.3% of a healthy price range. Still healthy. Okay, and this is written. So you can see in the red color, bubble risk is high. We are under fair value now. In Singapore, we are still on a fair value in terms of pricing. Okay. So in terms of the chart, you can see that Singapore is the last few in terms of pricing in Singapore. We are a bit coop up within our own country, we think prices are a bit too high. But actually, if you look around the world, prices are still very low. Very, very low, controlled by government. So you can see that's why your bubble over here is one of the smallest. And of course, you have New York, Milan, and all these are all still very low because of the subprime period. So you can see that your bubble is still not formed up. These areas are where, of course, our friendly neighbor, Hong Kong, is already a huge bubble already, right? And of course, if you see here, housing prices, okay, we are one of the lowest because we have declined in 5 years already, whereas the rest are running upwards, okay? So you can see over here also, we have studied in APEC. They have studied in APEC, Sydney, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Tokyo. Okay, can you see since 1981, our price index, Singapore is the red line. You can see our price index, we are all about the same every single year, across the years. But you see, once you reach 2013, do you realize that every country is running upwards, but there's only one country running down? That's Singapore, because of cooling measures. That's how strong the government is, right? This chart may not be strong enough. I show you one more chart, even more powerful. Okay, so that's how they have gauged our bubble. Okay, can we sustain? Can we sustain? Today, if you tell me, today, if I'm telling you that out of the 50 over launches, a good 80% is from government land sales, I will tell you we cannot sustain. We cannot. We confirm cannot sustain. But because why? If it's government land sales, there's only one flow of money. From us, commoners, to the developers, they take some, they pay government for the land. So one way of money going upwards to government. One day, our economy will dry out. We will not be able to sustain the supply that's coming in, right? We will not be able to sustain. But today, 70 to 80% of our lands were won through en bloc. And en bloc is a very beautiful system. Why? Because the flow of income is not one way anymore. It's the other way. Where is it coming from? The money is coming from the biggest boys in Singapore, which are your developers. It's coming from all your foreign developers that are pumping money into the economy. And where is it going to? It's pumping back into the economy. All the commoners, all the owners of en bloc homes have received money. How much have they received over these 1.5 years? A total of 13 billion is being pumped back into the economy. Do you know how powerful this amount is? Because 13 billion is without leveraging. This is full hard cash that's being thrown into all the en bloc owners. Okay, imagine, Singapore nobody buys without loan. We will usually buy with loan because we are seeing one of the lowest interest rate in the whole world. We are still seeing about 1.6, 1.7%. All right, even though you have a lot of cash in your pocket, I will tell you, please take a loan. Don't be so silly to throw your full hard cash in. Because if your interest is 1.6, 1.7, I'd rather you take your cash, put into a bond or a dividend payout where you get about maybe 3%, 4% per annum. Even you are paying your interest at 1.6, you are still having a positive return in funds. So you keep liquid until one day where you feel that the interest is hitting upwards, that it doesn't justify anymore. Take out from the bond, pay off your loan. Still not too late. You understand? Right? So this thing is amazing. Why? Because let me share with you an experience. I was in Sun Roger, one of the en bloc that I showed you just now. I was in Sun Roger. I was giving a talk to the en bloc owners over there. And then amidst the crowd, I saw one face that was smiling at me. That guy is my army friend. I was happy to see him because I thought, hey, wow, my friend become rich. I got sales to do already. So after that, when we finished the talk, we were having a casual talk downstairs. I was asking him, I said, hey, wow, interesting, your family now suddenly become very rich. He said, it's my dad, not me. So when he said that about his dad, I asked him how much the dad bought Sun Roger. He bought about 25 years ago at 550,000. His father was paid out 3.5 million for that unit on en bloc. So I asked him, what is the plan? So the father is 60 years old. The father has 3 sons. My friend is one of the sons, right? The father already told them already, each of you go and find a unit for yourself. I will pay your upfront deposit. You all take a loan, service the loan yourself. Asian parents are like that. They won't fully pay out for you. They want you to work hard for yourself, right? So what happened here? What is the father going to do? The father is then going to downgrade to an EA, keep the cash of about maybe left 3 million, because 500,000 can let them go and buy it. 3 million or maybe 2 point something million, he's going to retire in a HDB. Downgrade, enough. So this is a very simple trend we are seeing in on block. How many owners are there? We have a total of 5,200 owners and counting. It is increasing, right? And these owners are all, we check, when we did a study, the average age of on block owners are all about 60 years old. At 60 years old, how many kids will you have? 2, 3, thereabout. Last time people like to give birth to more children. Now nobody give birth, right? So 2 to 3 kids on the average household. What is their age group at about 60 for the parents? They're all about 30, right? Are they in the age to buy? Can they sustain their own loan now? They can. So what you are seeing is the en bloc process take 1 unit back from the market, but they spin off 4 more units into the market again. That is what we are seeing. So that's why I tell you, the market is very fluid now. Because if this is not based on leverage, and I change this to leverage, change all to taking loan, do you know how much is inside this market? We are seeing maybe about 50, 60 billion in the market that's floating. My agents are asking me, Ken, should I stop doing new launch? Should I go and do resale because resale is picking up? My answer is not about new launch. It's not about resale. It is simply because the market is fluid. Everybody is there to buy now, right? 4 years of waiting, a lot of wealth is accumulated from other people also. So on block is a beautiful system where they pump back money, they pump back purchase. If I times 4 over here or times 3, we are seeing about 15,000 demand back into the market. And that's how powerful the thing is. We're not talking about other investment units that they're going to throw in. So this market will be sustained partially by this. Okay, let's look at the second factor. Okay? Okay, this chart, I like this chart a lot. This is from UOB. I borrowed from one of the economists. He was sharing with me this chart and I like it a lot. Remember just now I showed you how the prices dip when the rest of the countries are going up? This will even show you more. We are looking into Malaysia, Australia, China, New Zealand, UK, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Thailand. This is the property price index across all these countries from 2011. Can you see we are all starting off about the same? Once we hit past 2013, everybody is increasing like crazy. Every market out there, prices are going crazy. And there's only one little chap here in the blue line that dips down. And this is Singapore. And again, when we time this, when did they break away from the herd? 2013. Cooling measures thrown in, property prices sustained. That's how strong our government is. Can you see? Very, very strong. If they didn't do the cooling measures, our prices will somewhere be here now. You all will be complaining even more, how to sustain. Now actually, we are just going down, we are just recovering back up. So the market can take this price and they can. Because they have stopped us for 4 years already. The market is ready to take on this price, and that's how strong they are. You understand? Okay, so one of the things we saw in the last Guru talk we had, we were doing a Guru talk in Asana. Some of you were there. I mentioned to the buyers, I said that foreign buyers are coming in. The next speaker was the owner of a law firm. He came up after me and he said that what Ken said is true. He said because he has been in the trade for 27 years, in these 27 years, the sharpest purchasers he saw were not your China buyers, were actually your Hong Kong buyers. Hong Kong is so used to investment that they are so sharp. And he mentioned one experience he saw was during the sale at Marina, when they first launched, Singaporeans didn't want to buy anything. Because y'all don't believe in CBD, right? Y'all didn't buy. So they brought sale at Marina to Hong Kong. Over one weekend, they sold 40 units to Hong Kongers. And these are his private clients. And then the sharpest thing was not that they bought sale at Marina. The sharpest thing they did was they let go of the units before the market crash. That's how sharp they are, Hong Kongers. And they form up part of your China population that's buying here. So recently, after so many years, he starts seeing them back in the market again. And he asked these buyers, why are you back in the market? And the buyers just said that this is the new Hong Kong. Singapore is the new Hong Kong. Everybody is eyeing us. We are becoming like a chobu now, like a beautiful lady now. Why? Every single country has run away from price. All your investors have nothing to play in all the countries they are in now. Even your developers. Where is the beautiful place to play? Singapore. Sustained price for 15 quarters. If you don't come in now, when to come in? Because the rest have gone up crazily. So take a trend from the biggest boys again. Who are the biggest boys? Your foreign developers. Are they coming in? They are flooding in. You have Logan that came in recently, Hong Kong listed China developer. You have Kingsford that came in. You have Qingjian, you have Nanshan, the list goes on. These China developers, Hong Kong developers, even Malaysian developers, SDB, right? They are all into the market. Why? Nowhere else to play. The new Hong Kong is here. We are sustained in price. And let me share with you one of my own thinking. And that's the reason why I feel that recently, for the past 2 years, the government has been so stringent to enforce one system. What is the system? Anti-money laundering, right? AML checks. Every single corporation you are in, you need to do your AML check. Agree? In banks, now you buy your cash order, they will check on anti-money laundering. Why? Our government is always one step ahead of others. They already know foreign funds will start flooding into Singapore. If they don't do this in the next 2 years, we won't be able to track where the funds are coming in from. And true enough, this 13 billion that hit into Singapore, large majority of them came from China, came from other developers from around the world. And that's how Singapore is. So if the foreign developers, the big boys are coming in, do you think your purchasers are coming in as well? They are. Let's see. Can you see an increase in your purchases now in foreign purchase? The past few years, we saw 70% local purchaser, 30% foreign purchaser. Last year and this year, we saw a reverse in your high-end area. 70% foreign purchasers, 30% local purchasers. They are in the market. Can we sustain? We can. The boys are in. They are coming in to buy, right? And let's see the next one. So that is foreign purchasers coming in. Foreign developers are coming in to pump money back into the market. Are we accepting it? We will. We will take in. It's good for the economy, right? Okay, so a lot of you are asking, will the government throw in cooling measures? Because the buyers are still buying and everything. If you are government and you know there's a very huge supply in the market now, will you kill your own market? Will you throw in cooling measures to stop buyers from buying? Now the thing that you are worried about is whether I have enough demand to cover up the supply or not. If I don't, the market may crash. So where will the cooling measures slap? It will hit the developers first. It will hit them. They are already doing it. What did they do? They increased development charges 2 times already, right? They are doing that to bring down the bid prices. They have to protect the bid price, land price. They will not do cooling measures to buyers, my view. For the time being, they need the demand to continue. Okay? So let's look at the third part. The third part I want to cover, I'm coming to an end already. The third part I want to cover is, a lot of you are asking, do we have enough foreigners to come in to cover my rental? Because the newspaper released recently to say that there's an oversupply. Okay, don't take news on the surface value, because they tell you the whole Singapore oversupply. But until now, based on statistics, we are still on a single-digit vacancy rate. Single-digit, we are about 8 point something, meaning to say every 100 units, we only have 8 units that are vacant. Are you going to be sway the 8 units? Okay, you have to first, number one, break down into which area you're going to buy into. Study whether this area will have an oversupply or not. Don't just blindly think oversupply, every area oversupply, because different places, different demand. Number two, the oversupply, the vacant units may come into units that are very old, that may be going through en bloc, that tenants are not willing to stay inside because they have to shift out very soon or so. So these are things you have to look into before you take the news as a whole scale. So the third point are foreign investors coming in. Not investors, sorry, are foreign talents coming in because we need them to sustain our tenancy and stuff, right? Let's look at this. This is based on the latest news that we saw, budget. The budget was one of the hotly debated topic at the start, right? You all saw the debate, right, that was going on. So let's look at this. From 2007 to 2017, you see that your GST, which is your government revenue, that's revenue to them, income to them, and your expenditure has been staying quite similar across the years. Do you see a very big difference here? Meaning to say, the GST they are taking in is not enough to cover the increasing expenditure they are paying. Is this dangerous? Dangerous, So when the economy saw this chart, they already predicted 2018 budget, they will increase GST. Did they increase? They announced, They announced, but not now, Later, 2 years later, they tell you first. So why? They have to cover this gap. If not, the country will see a loss, right? So why 2 years later? Your own guess. I cannot say, because got a lot of recording here. Announce first, but 2 years later, then they increase. Huh? They have to do it, because you can see, this is a very big difference. We already expected it to come. So then how are we going to cover this big gap that we have? Summary of the budget. Increase GST from 7% to 9% from 2021 to 2025. Ambiguous. Tell you first, but keep it ambiguous. They will increase. Revenue will increase. Increase tobacco. Smokers, no choice. They increase, people still smoke. Right? So they get money from here. Buyer stamp duty, a lot of people are scared. Don't be scared. Unless you are buying the 5-6 million type of property, you will be scared. Because this is a wealth tax. This is not a buyer stamp duty increment. Anything below $1 million, you are not affected. Anything above $1 million, every 100,000, you only pay $1,000 more. So the richer you are, they take more from you. So by the time you reach that 3 million, you can afford. To be honest, this one is nothing to you already. Okay, so they are increasing taxes from all areas. Carbon tax, what is this? Carbon tax is increased to do what? A lot of electric smart cars coming onto the road. Electricity, carbon tax, they will take a tariff or so, right? Okay, so all these are the things that they are doing to increase revenue. Why am I telling you this? Coming straight already. Okay, so this chart is interesting also. If I need to cover the loss of my expenditure as a country, there are only 3 options I can do. Number 1 is I increase tax. I increase tax, I will cover my revenue. If I increase tax, will you all make noise? You all sure make noise. Complain, 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 then become very scary, right? So that one can increase, not can, a bit still acceptable. Complain but lasts a while only. If I increase 10%, that's it, everything gone, right? So that one cannot be touched. This one, I increase population. If I increase population, I will increase my revenue also. Okay, but are you all willing to give birth? You are not. You are not. You are not, totally not. That's why they have to encourage you all. They give you all a lot of encouragement, telling you even the small space you can make babies, right? They announced, the government said that. But are you all doing anything? You are not. Because why? You all prefer not to have babies. That's why 60 years old still have about 2 to 3 kids. Anything younger now, you're going to find about 1 kid. Okay? So, what is the only option? Immigration. Why is this so sensitive? Because the word cannot come out from my mouth, I don't know why. The last, you all say it, yeah? The last, you all complain about immigration, foreign workers snatching jobs and everything, right? Everybody complain. So no choice. They say we cut. Because people complain, MRT, so they cut, they stop. But to be honest, have they really stopped? Yeah? No. If they don't say, will you know? Okay, recording. Okay, so, but let me tell you something. We asked a minister before. We had a closed door conversation with him. I won't say his name. We asked him the golden question that all agents will ask. Will immigration be lifted? Because we want people to come in. As agents, we want. We know it's good for the economy. We know it will help investors. Okay, the answer is so smart. That's why he is a minister. He said, he didn't call my name. He just said, hey, do you know that we are a migrant country since 200 years before? Smart, 200 years ago, we are already a migrant country. Your forefathers, my forefathers, are not from Singapore. This fact will never change. Did he answer me well? He did. And he didn't deny, he didn't even hide and tell you, say there's no immigration. He said, this fact will never change. Okay? He said, because in Singapore, we are moving into different key emerging industries now. Which are your industries? Technology, IT. Are we strong? We are not. We are not. Are we moving into aerospace? We are moving into aerospace. Are we strong? We are not. We don't have engine makers. We have ST Aerospace. That's government also. So you see, if we are going to capture these industries, if we want Singapore to move forward, and we need talent to come in, because in US, they can call talent from Dallas, Chicago to go into New York to work, right? They can pull talent from all around the cities. In China, you can pull your talent from your different provinces into the city, in Shanghai, Beijing to work. Singapore, you tell me you pull from where? You pull from Woodlands, Pasir Ris, Bedok, Jurong, you pull the same. So in order for us to continue to survive and remain as one of the top cities in the world, the immigration have to happen. Are we trying our best to cater to these emerging industries? We are. What are we doing? We have created new universities now. You realize? We have SIT in Punggol. We have SUTD that is being thrown in. Are we in time? We have all this to cater, but not in time. So only way is to open up. And I can tell you, it will slowly, it has already happening already. It is opening up. And that is why they are so confident that with this current supply, they are not afraid the market will crash. Because our talents need to come in. We need to grow heavily in this industry. And this is the third point I'm telling you. Be very confident that in Singapore, all these are already looked forward by the government. They are looking way ahead of us. And they will cover this without having to announce to you. Huh? Okay? So, what is this chart? Every chart goes up, but there's one chart that comes down only. Yeah. Fertility rate, your birth rate. Your birth rate. Every 2 couple is replacing 1.2 baby only. That's scary. We are going to be extinguished soon as Singaporeans. We are going to be extinct. Huh? That's scary. So we need to replace. We need to replace how? The immigration needs to come in. Two couple replace 1.2. Okay, the age group that we are seeing, the number of people that are above 65 and the number of people that are below 15 are going to cross soon. Meaning to say, number of below 15, number of above 65 are about the same number already. Once these things surpass, there are more people that are above 65, fewer below 15, we are not going to replace ourselves. And we're going to become like Japan. Right? Okay, so this is a very real problem. That's why in today's market, when you want to look at property, you want to know how far you can go, which area you should be looking at, it's no longer about location, location, location. Really. It's not about just being near MRT will be good. It's not about being near shopping mall or a good school will be good. That's how we bought property last time. Today, there are a lot of macro factors you need to be looking at. You need to look at what the government is planning. Okay, one hint, regional centers have already proven track record to double in price for properties. Right? Second hint, properties that are along the 2 coastline of Singapore. The 2 coastline, the north coast, the south coast are something you should be looking out for. Because your left and right coast cannot touch. Left coast, Tengah Air Base. Right coast, Changi Airport. If you want waterfront living, okay, empty plots of land, north and south. This area, you are beside a regional center. The last one, 2 times the size of Tampines, not formed up yet, okay? The last regional center, and you are situated within the North Coast Innovation Corridor. When the word innovation come out, you already know already. Digital, tech. This place is the future. This is, a lot of people don't see it yet. Huh? Okay? So, is that the end of my slides? Okay, I come to my last slide. This one. This is my last slide. Shrinking dollar. This is my boss' favorite slide. Why? Because a lot of people like to put money in their bank. They are scared. They save so long already, they put in their bank. But your money will shrink. Because today, the $10, which could have bought you 5 fishball noodles last time, can only buy you 3 bowls of fishball noodle now. Prices are increasing, inevitably. Buy the 3 fishball noodle, cannot afford to tapao because they charge you 20 cents for container. Right? So, you see, this is shrinking dollar. What is the advice given from here? Here, invest in asset class that will appreciate. Because today, the 100,000 or 200,000 that you are taking from your bank to put into a property that is highly focused and looked at by the government, you are just simply taking out your cash and putting into another form of savings account that will appreciate with time. Okay, if you choose correctly. You put in the bank, your appreciation of 0.something% from the interest of the bank will be eroded by the inflation rate of the country of about average 3 to 5%. It's a very fast erosion, very, very fast. So that is something that I would like you all to think about. You all will choose correctly because you all know how big this potential is when the next speaker come on. All right? So with that, I hope you all have enjoyed the session that I gave you all. I thank you for your attention. Thanks.